Hello, everybody. This is Coach Bala here. Hope all of you are doing well. Happy President's Day long weekend to all of you. And coming here on the 19th, Sunday morning. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for making my birthday, which was yesterday, very special with all your wonderful messages, kind words. Definitely felt great. So thank you, guys. Thanks for all the love and all the best wishes. You know, as they say, when you're having fun, when you're surrounded by friends, when you're surrounded by family that you want to be, time flies. And I really think that's what is happening right now for me. I just thought that I had celebrated my last birthday, and before I know it, the 1 year has gone by. So at this rate, I think very soon I'll cross 60 and be into the senior citizens mode very, very soon. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing, but boy, I'm enjoying it. I'm having good times. So thanks to all of you. And let the good times roll, as they say. So for today, I wanted to talk to you about two more things which are very, very important in terms of understanding our training program as well as understanding your own training regimen. It's important that we understand the basics, the fundamentals that goes into it, so that as you get into meso 3, as you get into the next meso, which is the peak meso cycle, and then eventually to the race, all of this comes together. So that's what I want to talk about, two fundamental contexts and concepts that I want all of you to start focusing on. Now that you've completed 2 mesos and you're into the 3rd meso, congratulations. Almost another week has gone by, and the things are ramping up. You guys are doing really well. Looking forward to the next 2 weeks of this meso, and then we will have a rest week, which we'll talk about shortly. But the two concepts that I want to talk to you about today are really critical for you to sort of nail it as we think about the rest of your training journey for this season, and in general, even for those experienced runners who are coming back. These two concepts are really critical for you to nail, for you to be a successful long-term, long-distance, running athlete, so to speak. And what are they? So first one, I want to introduce to you the concept of FIT, F-I-T. This is one of the sort of, call it the foundational structures around which our training program is built. In fact, any training program is built around this structure. Long-distance running training program I'm talking about. And the idea is F stands for frequency, I stands for intensity, and T stands for time, or time between runs, to be more specific. So the combination of how you manage the F, I, and T in your training journey essentially lends itself to optimizing the results. So if you overdo or underdo any one of these three, the overall output of your training success will not be the best, or will not be the maximum you can get out of it. So let me talk a little bit about it, because it's very important that you understand this. Now, FS stands for frequency. That means the number of runs you do in a week is a direct, there is a direct correlation to how well you do or how you improve your fitness journey and your long distance journey. So if you think about it, every week we give you 4 runs. And let's assume that, the total distance is like 333 miles. And then the weekend is 6 miles. So in other words, 9 miles on the weekdays and 6 miles on the weekend. So it is 15 miles a week. So that's the total distance that I'm giving you over 4 runs. Now, for whatever reason, you guys, one of you have decided that, I'll shoot for 15 miles, but I'll not do it over 4, but I'll do it over 2. That means I'll not do much of the weekday runs, and I'll just do a 10-mile weekend run and a 5-mile one weekday run. That also lends itself to 15 miles. But this training pattern is hugely suboptimal because it fails on the frequency portion of the FIT. Frequency is, the idea here is how many times you hit the ground running, as they say. So the goal here is to train yourself or train your heart to start from the resting heart rate to a running heart rate. So that path, the number of times you do that, is what measures the the ability for your cardiovascular system to start off and get to a certain zone that can drive your running. So that itself is a training. If you think about it, when you start running, always the first mile is difficult, right? Why is that? Because your cardiovascular system is sort of at rest. And then when you start running, it takes some time for the CV system to get used to meeting the higher demands that you're placing on your body. So that ability for your CV system to meet the higher demand is something that you need to train for. So if you do a 15-mile in 2 instead of 4, you're only training that portion only 2 times a week and not 4 times a week. And as a result, your training impact is sort of largely impacted. So distance matters, but in this case, just distance alone doesn't matter. It is the frequency. So that is why stick to the training schedule, make sure that you do the number of runs that have been given to you is done. Likewise, on the other end, if you overdo the frequency, that means the same 15 miles, let's say you do it every day, literally every day. Break it into, 3 miles every day. So 6 days, 6 threes are 18. So maybe, 2 miles every day, and then adjust it so that you run all 7 days in a week instead of 4 times given. Then you have a problem on the T part of the fit, which is the time or the duration between runs. So if you do not give adequate time between 2 runs or between a set of runs and the next run, what you are really doing is you're not allowing the body to recover from the impact of training of the last run or the last set of runs. Now, as a result, when you do not give time for body to recover, the starting point of the next run is at a point where your body is worse than what it was before because it hasn't recovered from the impact of the last training. And as a result, you don't really get the training impact. You actually go back in terms of your fitness because your injury quotient increases. So the entire training, guys, is all about how do you manage the increase in fitness and the increase in injury that is happening in your body because of your long distance running. So the time portion between runs becomes very critical as you run longer and longer and larger distances in your training regimen. So that is why time between intervals is also a critical portion. And the number of times you do in a week is also a critical portion. So managing these two is the magic of training program. And again, this also lends itself to my primary sort of ask of all of you, which is just stick to the training program. All of this is taken into consideration. We don't ask you to think. So as long as you do not deviate too much from the training program, this fit concept is already taken into consideration in the training program that has been structured for you. Okay, here I'm here just to explain to you what goes into the structuring this training program and why it is important and how your body is slowly getting better and better as the F and T equations of the fit is sort of coming together. So talking of that, let's go into the I, which is the intensity. Now, this is a very important portion of the fit equation. The intensity of every run also drives this fitness equation. So what I mean by that is, if you do a relaxed base pace run, okay, a relaxed base pace run versus a heavy duty stride run, or in fact a long run for that matter, the intensity of this training is very different from all of these 3 runs. So when you have high intensity, there is this thumb rule that for every 30-second reduction in your strides or in your split pace, the impact on your joints increases by 25%. That's really what a simple thumb rule. Or in other words, if you try to do a lot more strides run when your muscles and your joints are not ready, what you are really doing is you are adding a lot more load onto your joints, and hence the quotient of injury actually increases quite a bit. Okay, so you are in fact going back when it comes to training. If you try to run faster than what your body is ready for, just because your mind is ready, mind is pushing, fast, for whatever reason that seems more exciting, especially those runners who are doing it for the first time. After 2 mesos, you feel good about yourself because your mental strength normally outpaces your physical strength when it comes to development in these training, which is a very dangerous time, this meso. And that's why I call this meso injury meso. The reason for this being an injury meso is, one, you've already been training for some time, so the injury sort of coefficient is building in your body. On top of that, your mind is a lot stronger. Your mental strength has become a lot stronger than what it was compared to what your physical strength is compared to what it was before. So what I mean by that is, so at the beginning of let's say you started off at level 0 for both physical and mental strength. After 7 weeks of training, intense training that you've all been through, your physical strength has gone from level 0 to level 4. But your mental strength has gone from level 0 to level 6 because you started believing in yourself. So now you have a situation where your mental strength is a lot more than your physical strength. Or in other words, your brain is going to push you hard to do things that your body is not yet ready. And when that happens, you try to go for more intensity because speed is thrilling. You feel good about yourself. Like, say, 7 weeks ago, you were doing 15 minutes a mile. And suddenly now you're able to do 12 minutes a mile. And you're thinking, maybe I can push for 11 minutes a mile as well. Now, mind is ready. Your body is also maybe appears to be ready because you're able to do 11 minutes a mile. But the problem is when you do this 11 minutes a mile, your body is not yet ready to take on the additional load that I had just explained to you for 11 minute mile, because various muscles and joints it takes a little longer time to prepare itself. And as a result, knee pains, ankle pain, all kinds of joint pains will start and it will shut you down. So that is why, guys, intensity becomes a critical portion of this entire equation. This is where you got to wait for your physical strength to catch up with your mental strength. This is why this becomes the injury meso number 3. Okay, and this is why we also have a rest week after meso 3, just to give your body some time to recover and come together and build as good as the mental strength you have developed. So guys, as I said, there's always a lot of science and art in this training program, and this is how all of these things come together. Okay, so the message for you on this FIT framework is this: frequency of your runs matter. So you don't consolidate your runs, don't miss out on any runs, because it helps you to train your cardiovascular system to go from resting status to active running status. That training rhythm, that training ramp up is what we are training in frequency. Time between runs is super critical because that's when your body recovers and that's when the training actually happens. Time between runs. And then the intensity of your runs essentially determines the load that you're putting on your body. Beware that at this point of your training cycle, the mental strength that you've developed is a lot higher than the physical strength. So you are in the injury zone because your mind is pushing you to do things that your body is not yet ready for. So if you combine all of these 3 things, run slow now to run fast later, run as much of as many times as the training program is telling you, not missing any runs, and provide sufficient rest between runs. That means not moving around your long runs too much so that you have the right rest. Don't moving around the runs too much so that you sort of mess up the schedule that we are given to you. If you do all of this, FIT comes together. And when FIT comes together, you will do a fantastic run. That's really what it is, guys. So hope all this makes sense, the FIT equation. Secondly, I also want to talk to you about the next important concept that I want all of you to start thinking about, which is control. It is a very important milestone in your training journey. Controlling your run. In life, why only run? In life, I would say, if you have the ability to control whatever you are handling, you will actually be more successful and more happy than what you would have been without control. Controlling your expenditure, controlling your sort of enthusiasm or passion to do one thing. if you're passionate about something and you overdo it, after a point of time, you won't feel like doing it, or you're sort of burnt out doing that. But if you're able to control your passion in a beautiful, smooth flow, then you will be able to do it for a much longer time and actually much more successfully. So controlling your emotions, just before the interview, if you're able to control your emotions, then you may probably deliver a wonderful interview and maybe get that dream job. I mean, I can go on and on. An ability to control the inputs that are given to you, so that you are on top of releasing those inputs as and when you want, you will optimize on the output. That's really what it is. Similarly, in long distance running, controlling the release of your energy. We have talked about that balloon analogy sometime earlier. Controlling the release of your energy and your stamina during your runs is an important characteristic and an important lever that you need to use to be successful in the long run. Now, how do you go about doing this? So I'm going to introduce to you 4 sort of concepts or 4 levers of control that you can tactically execute. And I would like, starting next week, all of you to do that, irrespective of where you are in the training journey. Level 1 control. Level 1 control is basically ensuring that your mile 1, the first mile, is the slowest mile of your run. Or in other words, mile 1 is when you have the highest energy or the highest sort of enthusiasm. And I want to make sure that mile 1 is when you really control all the energy that you have, so that you release it really slowly. So that mile 1 becomes your slowest mile. That is level 1 control. Okay, make that happen. I want to see that. The second level of control is the first half of your run is slower than the second half of your run. If you're able to do that, that's a win as well. Okay, the first half is slower than your second half. That means let's say you run a 4-mile run. First 2 mile, you do it in 30 minutes. Second 2 mile, you do it in 25 minutes. It doesn't matter how it is within it. You are in good shape. Okay, that is what a reverse split run would look like. Okay, that's the second level of control that I would like you all to focus on. The third level of control that I would like you to do is what I would call it as progressive reverse split. That means every succeeding mile is faster than the previous mile. So in the same 4-mile analogy, a reverse split, as I explained to you, is first half, that means first 2 miles is 30 minutes, second 2 miles is 25 minutes. It could look like, in the first 2 miles, it could look like first mile is 13, and then 12, that is 25 minutes, or what did I say, 30 minutes, right? So 16 and 14, that is the first 2 mile, that is 30 minutes. And then the second one is sort of 13 and the remaining 12. That could be, or 12 and 13. So it might not be that every mile is faster than the previous mile, but the half is faster. The second half is faster. That is reverse split. In progressive reverse split, every mile, that means you're slowly releasing your energy. You have so much of fitness and control that you are able to literally change the gears, like as if in a car. Like first mile, you put first gear, second mile, second gear, third mile, third gear, fourth mile, fourth gear, and boom, you're able to release it. That means the run looks like this. This 4-mile run looks like this: 15 minutes, 14 minutes, 13 minutes, 12 minutes. Last mile is 12-minute mile. When you do this, this is progressively, you are increasing the pace, and you're also delivering a reverse split in terms of the first half and the second half. So it's called the progressive reverse split, the holy grail of running long distance. Once you enjoy one PRS run, let me tell you by sheer experience, I'm sure experienced runners will agree with me, you have this tendency to shoot for a PRS for every run, because it gives a super special feeling. Progressive reverse splits. That's level 3 control. But I want you all to first do level 1, especially the newcomers. Do level 1, first mile the slowest, then do level 2, the reverse split, and then do level 3, progressive reverse splits. I want you to do this, focus on it. You have the right time for you to do that right now. You have all the training background already in place. You should be able to do that. Then comes level 4, which is stacked progressive reverse split. What I mean by that is, let's say it's mainly for really long, like the long distance range, as I call it, 10 plus miles runners. When you are doing this 15-mile runs, or especially those full marathoners, 16-mile runs, you can't do PRS for every mile. I mean, you can't start off at 14 mile and end at 8 mile. I mean, every mile going for such a long distance is going to be difficult. So we do this in what is called a stacked progressive reverse splits. That means you do the first 3 miles at a certain pace, the next 3 miles at a certain pace, you stack those miles. In that way, you are able to deliver a 5K at different pace, and that 5K pace for that each stack is progressively reducing, or a progressive reverse split in a stacked manner, and that's what is called stacked progressive reverse split. In the stacked progressive reverse splits are used for super long distance miles, and your control is so good that you decide what you need to do for the next 3 miles and you just stick to it. And it is an extreme form of progressive reverse splits. And most of our runners who are long distance runners would love to do that, because when you are in that zone, then you are on top. Your brain is on top, your body is listening to your brain, and as a result, you're just crushing. That's what I want you all to do, guys. That's the 2 messages for you today. Both are incredibly important frameworks that you got to use. In summary, the fit of your training journey, let's become fit by doing fit. Frequency, intensity, and time between runs. Manage these 3 equations, these 3 elements to be really fit and do really a good job. And secondly, the concept of control. Having control on your runs will give you an ability to do a wonderful long runs. So given you a framework of 4 different control levels. First mile, the slowest. Progressive reverse splits. First half is just slower than second half. Progressive reverse splits. Every mile is faster. Every succeeding mile is faster than the previous one. And then the stacked progressive reverse splits, which is very specialized form of progressive reverse split, or PRS as we call it, used for long distance runs. So bring it all together, guys. I want to see all of that in the next 2 weeks. Meso cycle, number 3, the injury meso. Remember, your mental strength is actually going to be a little bit of a deterrent for you. So control your mental strength as well, so that your body can catch up to your mind. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Love you all. Thank you again for all the birthday wishes. Let's keep at it. Next week is coming. Let's make it happen. Also, please order your t-shirts. We have got just a week or so. I think we have about 150 orders or so, which is great. But I know that many of you are sort of ordered at the last minute. I don't know why. But maybe think of this weekend, long weekend, as your last day. Just get it done. As I said, it will help us. Metric Stash will be releasing it shortly. Please go and take a look at it. Thank you for your feedback. That we, as I said, we had introduced Uber-style feedback, wherein you just do a short survey and then, enter that. So please give us your feedback. Last time's feedback was great. We learned a lot. We tried to adjust what we need to do. So this every meso giving us feedback will really help. So thanks for doing all of that. And then let's keep running. Father, let's keep running faster, and let's be fitter, and let's keep running farther and faster. Thank you, guys. Take care.